Alright, what's up everyone? I got a good lesson for you today. This is good for especially beginners, but maybe even you've been playing a while and you've really never gone in depth as far as your stick heights. I call them zones. This is all done from the Moeller book, named after Sanford Moeller. So this is all very old stuff, and at first when I learned about this I thought it was real picky because you just want to hit stuff. But in actuality, these go over the basic ways of hitting the drums that whether you think you're doing it or not, you are doing it. And if you're missing one, then you're not playing efficiently, and you're missing parts. So here's what we got. Here's the basic ways that you're going to hit the drum as far as your stick high. I'm going to play it on the high air so you can see. So the first is what's called a full stroke. So you're going to lift all the way up as far as your wrist can go. That's why it's called a full stroke. So you hit all the way up. If you're doing what's called a free stroke, which is not really the secret weapon, but usually people who don't know how to play drums usually will hold the stick too tight and they usually like bash into it. We don't want to do that. We want it to bounce back up at me. This way I don't have to lift it up. It's already where it needs to be. So that's called the free stroke. When we leave it in the down position, that's called the control stroke. And those are the only two options for that. So it's either going to bounce up freely or you're going to control it and not allow it to bounce up. So we have a free stroke, control stroke. We also have a full stroke, which is where you're bringing it all the way up. If it's not bouncing up, because it takes a little bit of practice, then you're going to have to lift it up. You don't want to hit it and leave it down unless you're playing little quiet notes after. If you leave it down, you're going to have to lift it up just to bring it back down again. So you might as well do it in one motion. So that's full stroke position. Next would be half stroke position. So you're going to go up to about halfway. So if you think about 90 degrees is full stroke, half stroke. Next would be taps, little tiny guys. Taps. Volume wise, obviously you can get more volume from a full stroke. Half stroke is about medium, and taps are always going to be little tiny notes or ghost notes. A good way to practice half, because a lot of people say, well, is this half, is this half, is this half? There is a standard way. Let's not get too picky about it. We don't need to go 12 inches, 6 inches, 2 inches, that kind of thing. But if you bring your sticks at the same height, what you need to practice is not necessarily hitting downward, which is the downstroke. We need to practice the upstroke, where to stop. So if you put them both here, you can practice bringing them up to that level. If one stick is here one time and here another time, and sometimes it's here if you're playing, your time is going to wobble and your sound is not going to be consistent. If it's here, it's going to be even, the sound is going to be even also. And then you do the same with the left, and you measure it, make sure that you're not going over it or stopping too short. So full strokes, half strokes, taps. Taps start flat, go down, back to flat. The next note would be pointing slightly down. That's going to be your buzz note. Buzzes, that's it. So so you've got your buzz zone, your taps, your half, your full. If you need more than a full, you can use your arm if you want to. Nothing wrong with that. If you're using the Moeller stroke, let's talk about that. So there's two main ways of hitting the drums. There's a stone or a Gladstone technique, named after George Lawrence Stone and Billy Gladstone, where you're lifting up with the wrist, you're lifting up, and you have those angles. It's all based on 90-degree angles and everything in between. Then there's a Moeller stroke, which is where you're going to wind it up and whip it. You're doing that kind of motion. So this is a Moeller stroke, which is using the arm. You're winding it up. It's kind of like you're flinging water off your hand. It's a Moeller stroke, very, very powerful. If I'm doing really short rolls and I want to add accents, I don't have time to lift up here. So what I do, you can see I'm whipping it. That's the Moeller stroke. Of course, you could combine two. Sometimes my right hand is doing Moellers, my left hand is doing Gladstone. It's fine, as long as it sounds okay, as long as the stick height is the same. So to recap, you've got Free strokes, letting it bounce up freely. That's the one to practice, for beginners especially. Control strokes, leaving it down. Why would I want a control stroke? Maybe I want to play a loud note to a quiet note, tap. And then there's one more secret weapon. Let's say I want to play a quiet note followed by a loud note. I would do what's called a tap up, or you can abbreviate it and call it a tup, which is where it starts in a down position and it goes down and comes back up. So it's almost an anti-motion. So even though I'm using big motions, it's like I'm pulling the note out of the drum. So the one thing we don't want to do when you're doing a tap up is we don't want to go up a little bit and then back down and then back up again, because that's wasted motion. So we've got full stroke, half, tap, tap up. That's a good exercise for you. So it's going to be free stroke to the full position, control stroke to the half, half to this tap position, tap, tap up. So it's a group of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like so. And then you do the same with your left, and then do both together, and then you speed it up. Now, why would we need to do this? This is all about volume control, stick control, and motion. Generally, if you make a mistake on the drum set with your hands, it's usually because one of those motions is off. If you're playing something like let's say 2 quiet notes, 2 loud notes. If you're just hitting downward, it's going to start getting louder and louder, and it's going to get out of control as you speed up. So what I'm doing there, just to show you, is I'm going tap up, control stroke, control stroke. Control is coming from full stroke position, which gives me my accent. I could go backwards. Accent to control, accent to control, tap up, tap up. So as I play, the louds are consistently loud, the quiets are consistently quiet. If I just focus on the down, it starts to get higher and higher and higher and higher. Remember, playing loud is not something to be proud of. Anybody can play loud. If you hand a gorilla a stick, he's going to play loud. Playing quietly and being having the full range of control is what's going to make you sound like an awesome drummer, not how loud you can hit. Like I said, a gorilla can play loud. I dare a gorilla to play fast and quiet. That's what takes a lot of talent. And if we're playing quiet and loud, we want to keep it there consistently. So on. Anyway, I hope that helps, and I will see you next week, or maybe in 2 weeks. Who knows? All right, bye-bye.